We have been heading south through Virginia, North Carolina, before turning west through the state of Kentucky on our way to the key swing state of Ohio. Welcome to a very wet second week of France 24's Election Express. We are in the town of Neon in eastern Kentucky, where coal is king here. The two parties are very much divided on energy policy for the future of the United States. Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan, the Republicans, say they back coal here in this region. Barack Obama's administration have invested heavily in green alternatives. And in the town of Neon, we've come to see what happens when the coal industry dies. On our journey through coal country, the signs are everywhere. The trip to Neon, full of reminiscence for the people here when their town was on the map.
We had 5, maybe 6 different places that we could actually go in and sit down and eat. None now. Nothing. I mean, there is a drugstore, a funeral home.
And there's a dentist. Sam Quillen has been practicing in Neon for 37 years and seen lots of changes on Main Street.
That was the first store that the Dahlhaus family built. Like I say, that was the bank.
And people keep leaving.
We're losing so many of our young people. We're exporting our most valuable resource, and that's our youth, because they and their families are having to find jobs elsewhere.
Yeah, businesses closed all over Neon. Its heyday is over. But the fears are across this state that similar coal communities could have Neon's fate. We spent a day with Alan, who is trying to fight to keep coal alive in this state.
If you look out, what we got here is a deep mine.
Alan Gibson in Pikeville has mined here for 40 years. And while there's plenty of coal here, he says onerous environmental regulations of the last 4 years means this whole area could turn into another Neon. What other jobs in this area can pay between $60,000 and $110,000?
Drugs. You'd have to sell drugs to make the money you make in that mines.
Alan now advocates for the miners, collects money for those laid off, and in Kentucky has plenty of supporters.
Never had to worry until Obama come in. And since Obama's been in office, he's not for coal. And it's got us all scared. You know, a lot of us probably voted for him to put him in office, but we didn't know it was going to put us out of work.
Kentucky ranks 4th in the United States in terms of coal production. I brought you here to show the vastness of this operation. It's called a tipple. This is where coal from surrounding mines is brought in, cleaned, and then put into these railway cars and taken across the United States. There used to be 40 of these sites in this surrounding area. Now this is the only one left. Despite the popularity of natural gas, coal still accounts for just less than half of US power output. But for Alan, it's about the community that coal has created.
I get very emotional, very. That's how we feel about coal.
And from eastern Kentucky, we head west. As well as coal country, this is the Bible Belt.
Kentucky is a very conservative state. It is the home of the Creation Museum, for example. This is the outside, the garden of the Creation Museum. But now let's go and have a look inside. From one garden to the next, the recreated Garden of Eden. Creationism itself is based on one assumption: God created the earth and its inhabitants in 7 days, literally. Everything written in the Bible is true, word for word. Evolution is rejected. An extreme view for many, but a Gallup poll says 46% of Americans share this view. Human beings were created the way they are now. The Creation Museum is the kind of place where you'll see this kind of scene, the Garden of Eden, with Adam inside of it, and just the other side, in the very same room, in the same space, a dinosaur, like this one. There are still very few conclusions on the impact religion could have in this very tight election.
I happen to be Baptist. I know one of the candidates, Mitt Romney, is Mormon. We differ in a lot of things theologically, but as far as core values, they're a lot similar.
Anybody other than Obama is probably going to be better in office. There's just some views that he has that I don't have. For instance, I've heard that he's for abortion.
The fact that Mitt Romney is a Mormon does not seem to bother visitors here.
religion is not that important to me. Their faith in God is, and what they do, whether they've been in office or whether they've not been in office, is a good expression of what they truly believe rather than what they say they believe.
Well, there was no way we were going to leave the Creation Museum here in Kentucky without a little souvenir photo. But before we reach the end of this episode, let's get to our campaign clip of the day about creationism as well. This one comes from a U.S. Senate candidate from Rhode Island.
Do you know how God created the earth, Connor? No. Well, first he created light, then God created men who created America, and everything was great. And then the creator politicians came and made all the debt. Why'd they do that? Why'd they do that? Everything was perfect. I don't know.
And this is where our RV arrives in Ohio, battleground state #1 from now until Election Day.